everybody, and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43, and tonight we are back in the Republic. And we are going to push up to the right side. And this is going to be one of those games that we have to talk about some interesting things that happen during the match. So, before the match gets started, you guys know the deal. We are on the path to 50,000 subscribers by the end of the year. So, if you guys are new to the channel, if you guys like what I'm doing, make sure you punch that subscribe button. Be a part of that journey. Otherwise, you're going to miss out. I know, it's crazy. Nobody wants to be left out. So punch the subscribe button. Now, I know that I mispronounce all these French words because I've been told so. But I can't help it. I try. I try to pronounce them correctly. I sound terrible doing it. So, I'd rather be wrong and sound good than to be right and sound bad. Does that make me a bad person? Anyway, we are going to push up to the right side. We've got a destroyer in front of us. Though that destroyer is not going to last very long because he's going to do exactly what every dumb destroyer does, which is just YOLO into the cap, smoke up the first chance they get, they see something, they smoke up, they turn full broadside to get their torpedoes away, and then they just sit in their smoke screen because nothing could ever go wrong with going broadside into a cap and sitting in a freaking smoke screen. Right? Nothing. Not a chance. Nothing could possibly go wrong with that strategy, right? Now here we have the first shot at the Alaska did 8,000 damage. We've got a broadside Awami. We're going to go ahead and take a shot at him. And we're going to start to turn in towards the cap a little bit because I'm anticipating torpedoes. Why am I anticipating torpedoes? Why isn't the destroyer anticipating torpedoes is the better question. Well, I was spotted before I fired my guns, so we knew there was a destroyer. And of course, down goes our destroyer. Who could have seen that coming? It's almost like smoking up and then sitting broadside in your smoke is a stupid idea. Especially if you're going to fire your guns. Now the good news is, we can see one of their destroyers is off to our left, and it was the Shima. Which means the one that was in the cap, obviously, was the Gearing, because he's the one that managed to destroy our destroyer. So we're going to push forward, because we know that for at least 2 minutes, this man does not have torpedoes. That gives us an advantage. If we can catch him outside in the open, with this thing's secondaries and the accuracy at closer ranges, we're going to be able to punch this man right in the mouth. We also have a little bit of help behind us in the form of a Conqueror and a Palmer. You're going to see pretty quickly that those guys aren't going to be a whole lot of help. But Conqueror takes a shot, completely whiffs, maybe catches him with a couple of shots there on the rebound, and then of course we reach out and touch him and take the rest. But yeah, that Gearing did the exact same thing that Tashima did, which is pull into the cap, dump your torps, pull broadside, and just sit there and hope for the best. But he doesn't get away with it. Now, what else is going to happen? Well, the enemy Shima has decided he wants to come over and get a piece of us as well. And unfortunately, we're not going to be in a spot to shoot the Shima because we're trying to head off this Awami. I am fully expecting this Awami to be coming around this corner to try to torp rush everything. You know, when people have torpedoes on battleships, they tend to just want to use those torpedoes no matter what. And they will out-position themselves every single time. Put themselves in bad positions that will leave them inevitably wishing they could actually use their torpedoes. Here, we're trying to get the guns around. Shima manages to run into the island, which actually works in his benefit here, because it allows him to hit the, or get the smoke instead of outrunning his smoke. We take a shot. We do get 3 overpins on him, but of course we leave him alive. Now we have the Awami off of our bow. Now what is the Awami going to try to do? He's full broadside here. You can see initially I'm trying to turn to the right because I want him to shoot the torps off to the right. And then when I think he's torped, then I will go ahead and turn back in. And you will see that I played this absolutely perfectly. So we faked him out. Now we turn all the way back and dodge his torpedoes. Again, people that have torpedoes tend to want to use them. And at this range, that should have been a depth strike. I'm sorry. One Citadel. One shell hit his ship from that close. 4 shells fired from the gun. 1 shell hit his ship from 2 kilometers on a broadside Iwami. That's bullcrap. And then, of course, right as we're about to get the shot into him, the Conqueror passes in front of us and blocks our shot. So now I just say screw it, set my sights on the Alaska and getting back into the enemy cap in the Charlie cap. Because their Shima is still here. I've got my rear gun in place to shoot the Iwami. Again, this Conqueror cannot figure out how to load AP, because if he had, this guy'd already be dead. So we finish off the Iwami. We're going to take a shot at the Alaska while we have a chance, and then we're going to pretty much ignore the Alaska and get ready to shoot the Shima. We know the Shima's in the Charlie cap, so we're already preparing the guns to engage. He gets spotted. Presumably because he fired or left a smoke or something against the Palmer. But we're going to push in, try to finish this guy off. And right about the time that we finally get our guns in a position where we can shoot him, as soon as we pull the trigger, that's when the friendly Palmer finishes him off. Because of course it is. It's like they wait to do anything until I actually get a chance. Now, unfortunately for us, this is the last decent decision those two guys are about to make. I have no choice. I have to grab the cap and I have to get back to defend the B cap. That is our goal at this point. So we're going to try to grab the cap. We're going to try to win on points. So this is where we start talking about as a team what happens. Because I hate to break it to you guys, this goes horribly wrong. Not because of anything I did wrong, but because I did everything I could, and the enemy ends up winning because my teammates throw this game. You could try to argue that maybe I didn't do as good as I could have in one situation, and I will say you're probably right, and I'll point that out when I get there. But right now, 38 seconds to get this cap, and the other two haven't even gotten into the cap yet. Like, They've spent this entire time. Palmer went all the way around the island instead of just charging forward and dealing with the Shima. I mean, he's got secondaries, he's got torpedoes, he's got all the things. He could have just moved forward, finished off the Shima, instead of going out to the outside. Conqueror, he's not going to be useful at all here. You may have noticed this is a legendary carrier game as well, I believe. So we're going to grab this cap, get our engine boost going. Now that we have this cap is secure for the rest of the match. It's guaranteed points. We have the B cap, so at this point we have to defend the B. The Conqueror is going into the Bravo cap. So I need to get into a position where I can counter this Conqueror. We've got the guns ready. Conqueror's over-angled. We aim high. We don't want to hit the belt. We want to aim high. And just as he comes around the corner, instead of hitting high, we manage to hit a lot on the belt. So we get 3 ricochets and 1 penetration. But fortunately, this guy's going to just go full broadside and potato. We lose our Shima, of course. And Conqueror goes full broadside here. He's in the cap. I don't know what he's thinking here. But we take a good chunk off of him. Over 20,000 damage. That takes up 106,000 damage in this match. Friendlies are taking their shots at him. And you can see, once again, shooting HE. That's all they know how to do. They get the fires, but again, how much are these fires actually doing? They're not. If he just load AP, he's got a broadside target, he would absolutely rail this guy. Palmer fires AP at the guy, and even Palmer's guns pin the guy. Again, it's Conquered. Learn to switch your freaking AP and HE, guys. Like, it's really not that difficult. You got a broadside target, I don't care what ship you're in, you should be shooting AP. Unless you're in a destroyer, in which case you have to be pretty close to use the AP most of the time. We do manage to finish off the enemy Conqueror that was in the cap. We have a good amount of health left, but we have no more heals, and we're on damage con cooldown for the next 60 seconds. We're fighting a Conqueror, an Alaska, and a legendary carrier. Now the legendary carrier is going to go after the one guy that's all by his lonesome, which just happens to be the friendly Conqueror. The Palmer that is with us is kind of just hanging back. He's not able to really do anything at this point. And between the two of them, they're going to put themselves in a perfect position to end up, like, not doing anything. I'm trying to get some distance between me and this enemy conqueror, because he's, again, shooting HE. Gets the double fire, and again, remember, we have no damage, or, yeah, we don't have any more heals. We don't run will to rebuild either. But look what I do here. Notice that there's 47 seconds, it's a single fire. In my head, I still had a double fire burn in here. So when this gets to damage con, I'm gonna go ahead and hit the damage con the damage con. Put out a single fire. Stupid idea, I know. Every time that I put out a single fire like that, it is like guaranteed to bite me right in the backside. Here we take a shot over the top of the island on the Conqueror. I know at this point my goal needs to be to disengage and try to get some distance between me and the Conqueror especially. And that's when the Alaska comes around the corner. And he's got a shot at me, and I knew what was going to happen immediately. I was like, this guy's going to get a fire. 100%. But he doesn't. He actually does not get a fire on us immediately. So we go ahead and take a shot at him. He's over-angled. I'm hoping to Citadel him. Enemy Conqueror still has a shot on me, which actually surprised me. He's a range build Conqueror, because usually Conquerors don't shoot outside much further than like 18 kilometers. And we were at like 18.2 last time we seen him. But unfortunately, Alaska does manage to get a fire on us on that salvo. The carrier's keeping us spotted, and this is enough to end up finishing us off. We try to turn away. Again, we don't have will to rebuild anymore. We run fire with fire, so being close to our teammates is not going to help us. And Alaska, of course, on his last dying breath, or on his last shot before he goes completely behind the island, hits us with a single shell and gets another fire. But it's 167,000 damage, Confederate. We still have 2 ships. Our Conqueror has sailed himself right into the position where he can be killed easily, which is going to give the enemy a lead. Remember, it's a 100-point swing to lose a battleship. They get 60 points for killing you, and 40 points gets deducted from your team. Right? Or maybe it's the opposite. Maybe it's 40 points they get, and then 60 points is deducted. One way or the other. It's a 100-point swing to lose a battleship. So that gives them the lead. But we can still win this. All the Pommern has to do is stay alive and run away. And he's going to do the exact opposite of that. So he turns into these torpedoes, so he's going to eat every one of these. He's getting closer to the enemy Conqueror. There you go. There goes a good chunk of your health, over probably 15,000 damage or more. He's getting closer to the Conqueror, so that's going to allow the Conqueror to finish him as well. And then, not only that, he's also going to make sure that he's full broadside so that he eats these torpedoes from the carrier again, instead of just continuing. Now, he does turn in, but then he's got the permaflood and the fire, and that's going to do it for this game. And it is really unfortunate when you get these games where you fight your backside off, you do everything in your power to try to win. You make one mistake and the game ends because the 2 people that are left on your team are just completely incapable of doing anything correctly. The entire match. 2100 base XP and a loss. You gotta love it. And you can see how useful my team was in this one. There were 2 people that broke 1,000. One of them was the Conqueror that was with me, shooting nothing but HE. But again, if that guy loads AP during that match when he has the chances, there's a good chance that we end up doing a lot more to win that match. But it is what it is. But I want to point these things out, not to pick on the players, because, you know, everybody makes mistakes. You saw me make a mistake in that. But I point these out so people can learn from them. Pay attention to the map. If you guys have the caps and the enemy cannot get to those caps, just try to survive. You saw me try to turn away and run, but unfortunately the carrier kept me spotted and the Conqueror kept me on fire with the Alaska. So there's not much I can do about that. The other 2 had options. Conqueror could have just went right behind the island, and he may have died to the carrier, but the Pommern absolutely had no reason to die there. And if either of them had survived, we win that match. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments below, and if you like what I'm doing, punch the like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.